I'll tell you what I think right off the rip. The audio and visuals are pleasing. The story is engaging, and it left me wanting to play more. Now, is it worth $70? Maybe only if you know you like action RPGs. You've played D2, D3, Path of Exile, Lost Ark, God forbid Diablo Immortal, even though it had some cool systems, but the D4 is a whole melting pot of all these games. It's fantastic. And if you don't know if you like action RPGs, I suggest trying out Path of Exile. Even though it gets super complex, you could at least try enough of it to kind of learn what action RPGs have to offer, and definitely try to find somebody that has played Poe before that can kind of get you started on it. But having said that, now the video I'd like to get into is my first playthrough. It's a live stream that I did on Twitch. You can find me at Medino69 over on Twitch. Also, if you want to see a part 2, I'll be doing a follow-up video after the next open beta this weekend. So be sure to like and subscribe. Okay, tip 1 before you even play the game, you can save 40 gigs on the install. Go to the settings. I think it automatically wants to install the high resolution assets. This adds 40 gigs and it's only for 4K. Most people aren't going to use this. And I did verify this with my friend who downloaded the 4K assets. He did not have any different quality settings. There was no ultra for him to choose. I'm guessing that's all for 4K. So when you do click the play button, you are greeted with Blizzard's legendary Q boss. 131 in Q. Now, it was the smoothest Q boss I have faced. It went down rather quickly, smoothly. It was a single phase Q boss, meaning that when you get to the end of it, it doesn't just hit you with an error disconnect code and you restart it back all over again. So I get in, get all the settings right, make sure my graphics are good and my audio levels are set. And then I head on over to the character creator after selecting Barbarian, of course. But I think I'm only gonna play Barbarian. What'd you say?
I just wanted to see how Barb was, but if you're playing a Barb, you could just maybe let me know. I don't know. Seems like it'd be pretty good though. Barb's always good in ARPGs. That was my main thought.
Are these? Oh, these are just presets. Is there a randomizer for the looks? There's no random. Oh, randomize all. R. Does it do everything? Oh, that one looked like.
Oh, a lethal shrine.
Oh, I like the random. I love the random button. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna hit random a few times, kind of trying to see if we get what we get. Oh my gosh, it's like those dogs that can't see with the long hair.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, I feel like they could use a few more hairstyles, but it's cool that they have a character creator to begin with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like that. It's like a beefy version of that guy from the Foo Fighters.
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, yeah, Dave Grohl. Come on, man. That's the that's Sinbad right there.
Oh, you got a
Sinbad
Sinbad?
the Barbarian. Yeah.
Sinbarb.
This face, I swear, this is Tyler 1 right here. Overall, I give the character creator a solid 7 out of 10. It's kind of cool. It could use some more features here and there, like hairstyles. I haven't messed with the other classes yet to kind of see what they have available. Yeah, it's no Ashes of Creation character creator. I've kind of seen what they are looking to do with theirs. Theirs is kind of next level, but you know, that's so 7 out of 10 is pretty good. And what's also cool is they use your character in the cutscenes and cinematics. Alright, so let's get into some of this Barbarian gameplay
I
here.
should find better shelter before I freeze.
Right away, I try out the new evade mechanic. You hit spacebar, it does like a little dash so that you can evade any enemy's attacks coming at you. You're going to want to save that as an oh crap button. And I also noticed that right away the health potions are now a limited number and you have to pick up more instead of the health globes. There's no longer the health globes. To start out with, I have simply an auto attack. It's not even an ability, it's just going to use whatever weapon I have. One of the first things that you notice I do is I start kind of clicking around, moving around, feeling out the movement because it does have a different pace than what D2 or D3 we're at, where D2 is a bit slower turn speed, and D3 is very snappy. It's very quick and snappy. It's like instant, where this is kind of in between and it's smoothed out a bit, and I like it. It feels like its own game. So I make my way to the first objective, following the new map. I think it looks nice. So you got a mini map in the corner. You don't, I mean, if you hit tab, you don't get that overlay anymore. I don't know if there's something in the game options where maybe you could toggle that on. I didn't look for it because I don't really care. Anyway, I turn the quest in, level up to 2, get that first skill point, which the first abilities you choose are your core abilities, and I go with Frenzy. Seems like it would be strong right at the low levels. And if you notice there, when I highlighted over Frenzy, it does require dual wielding now. That is different from Diablo 3, where you could use a two-hander with Frenzy. And this is kind of where I'll get into a little bit of the differences of Barbarian and my opinion of how the whole new weapon system works, because you do have two-handers and your dual-wielded weapons. Each weapon you can assign to abilities if that ability allows for it. So, example, Bash requires a bludgeoning weapon, which is any type of hammer or mace. Could be a one-hander, could be a two-hander, but now you kind of see where your build is going to start to revolve around which weapons you have, or which weapons are better. And we'll get more into that in just a minute. So I continue to level up, follow the quest as pretty normal, pretty straightforward. And what's really fun is every single time you level up, there's just a level up explosion and it just nukes everything around you. Alright, you get the point. It's friggin' sweet. So I keep progressing, couple more levels. I decide to put a point into Whirlwind, and didn't seem very good until I actually got a weapon upgrade. Once I switched to a better axe, it really mowed the packs down. However, on the first boss I encountered, I really just chopped him down with Frenzy. I must have just still been using the starter weapons because it was pretty slow.
The old ruins are clear. Your town should be safe now.
Truly! Ha! By the light, you are heaven sent!
And back at town, I enjoy some more cutscenes, but then I found the clan creator and had to make myself a clan. Wipe them. Clan tag, WP. What's our clan description? Wipe hard, but not too hard.
Good advice.
Congratulations, your clan's been created. So I messed around with the clan creator a little bit. It seems like it has everything you want, everything you're used to. It's nice. I don't really know what else they could add. I'm sure I'll spend a whole lot of time customizing my own banner. There's lots of choices, lots of colors. It looks well done. Well, the cutscenes are really good, but there's a lot of them, so I get back to leveling and it's just in watching cutscenes, a whole lot of them. And, oh, what I was gonna say is that I'm fighting myself like internally because I really enjoy the cutscenes, but I'm ready to smash. I'm like I wanna start smashing, killing, getting loot, but they're good. So I'm like, I want to watch it. Don't skip it. But my body, eventually, at one point, I did skip one. But we get to the town here, and I'm running through. I check out some of the NPCs. There is the Alchemist, which you see here. Make sure you upgrade at level 10. That's going to help out a lot with your health potions, especially when you get to like the next bosses. They do have the occultist, which essentially is like the new transmographer person for re-rolling stats. There's also the gem cutter. And then also within the alchemist here, you can craft these elixirs, and they're pretty helpful. The one's going to give you some beneficial stats, plus the what's important is the 5% experience gain. Lasts 30 minutes, so make sure you're looting along the way and crafting those and using them. So I head out of the town I was just in, and I immediately encounter one of these spawn events. You have an objective, you got to complete it. This one's called Rites of Ascension. Essentially, there's a boss in the middle I'm fighting, and he is summoning these skeletons that are linked. And it even says in the right, it says slay the unascended before the rites are complete. Uh, I think you got to kill them before they get to the boss. So yeah, just swinging away with Frenzy, building up the Fury so I can spin away with Whirlwind. I got the better two-handed axe equipped, so Whirlwind's working pretty good. I finished the event up and I get a nice little loot box. Looks like I got some of the new currency. I believe they're called obols. It replaces blood shards from Diablo 3, which there's an NPC back at town. You can spend them and gamble the currency to get random either weapons or armor or whispering keys. All right, let's get to some of this gravy here. So we come to the first boss, big boss, whatever you want to call it, the mother boss. And yeah, I hit a bit of a wall. I did okay my first attempt. I got pretty far through the fight, but I did feel weak. Things were going a bit slow. I was using up all my health pots. I'm level 10 at this point, and I have not upgraded my one-handed weapons, which I have to use for Frenzy. And so I end up dying, and I also end up giving it another try, which I probably shouldn't have wasted my time with, but I thought, well, I had that pretty close. I figured it wasn't too. I just gotta dodge more swirly boys, and I'll be able to do it. But no, I failed the second time much quicker. I just kind of gave up, realized, nah, I need to go do something. I didn't just say barbarians suck. No, I went back to town and kind of rehashed my game plan here because I knew my one-handers were poop. So I take a look at what's in my inventory and I just salvage it all. I don't think any of it was really worth except the one that I switched out, the one-hander. But I'm looking at what I have equipped and I see that the two-handed hammer, the DPS is just much higher. It's yellow. It's obviously my best weapon, but I can't use my frenzy ability and switch to this hammer. It just doesn't work like that. If anyone was wondering how barbarians actually work, I don't just toggle between which weapon I want freely. There are restrictions based on each of the skills and abilities that I have. Mainly, it's the starting abilities, your generating abilities, basic abilities. What I'm trying to say. You can see the tag there. Those are your generators. They generate fury. And then the next cluster of nodes are called your core abilities, which are going to be your spending abilities. What you can see I'm doing is I'm respec my skills. I have now picked up Bash because I want to use my two-handed hammer. It's the best weapon I have. The only skill I can use would either be the lunging strike or Bash. I'm restricted on Frenzy and the new Flay ability, which does bleeds. You have to have a slashing weapon like a sword or axe to use that one. So I choose Bash. It sounds okay. It has the passive abilities off the tail end. I looked at those, thought it seemed cool. It has like some stun effect, more damage, whatever. I'm gonna be able to use my cool hammer. And then I get rid of the whirlwind because I'm at a boss. Whirlwind is an AoE ability. It's good for clearing pack mobs, and it did its job. It got me to this point. But now I need to really hammer down a boss, so I go with Hammer of the Ancients. It's a good single target ability, but again, to use this ability, you have to have a hammer. And I want to use a hammer, so it works. I also picked up Rallying Cry. It's gonna increase my movement speed. I'm gonna be able to dodge the swirly boys better. It also buffs my resource generation, which Hammer of the Ancients is gonna be a thirsty ability when it comes to resources. So I take my classic portal back to the boss for another go after respecking and replanning my plan.
You must stop this. Look at the
And that
gifts
plan
she's given
starts
me.
with swinging on that bubble there, building up my fury meter before the fight really begins. That way I can drop them bombs on these elites, and you can see it's going so much better, so much faster. I get a stun too with the bash, so they get stunned every few hits, and then allows me to drop my bombs, pop the rallying cry when I need speed or more resources, so I can drop more bombs. But yeah, it was a lot easier, get the health globes a lot quicker. I'm not using as many.
Mother, no! You won't take what's mine.
And you can see in between the waves of mobs, I'm making sure to beat on that bubble just to keep my fury meter topped off. And I'm just going to speed it up a bit. It's a little tedious, same stuff we just kind of been watching. There is this big boy that spawns towards the end. It's kind of, I'll slow it down a little bit so you can see that part. Absolutely chunked that pit lord. What was that, 185? The whirlwind was doing like 30 and my frenzy even less. Yeah, it's going way better. Feeling like a Giga Chad. I'm gonna just speed it up a little bit. It gets kind of tedious at the very end because there's crap flying every direction. It takes kind of a minute here to finish this fight up, probably the longest part of the fight, just to finish that last little bit off at the end. But, you know, the whole moral of the story is that I didn't think Barbarian sucked just because I couldn't beat the first 2 times. Well, I mean, it was really just like one attempt. But I just went back, kind of looked at what I had built. My build sucked. I sucked, okay? But right there, you know, my mechanics were good and I was smashing. It was pretty easy. I had fun. I think the sound effects are really good. I'm enjoying Barb so far. So I head back to town, turn in my quest, and notice that at the alchemist I forgot to upgrade my potions. So did the whole fight without the better potions that I could have had that would have helped me stay alive. But I kind of just look around some of the systems, read some things, ponder about what I'm going to do next time, because this is kind of where I called it for the first sit down. I return the next day and I've got another bit of clip that I'll kind of cut through and show a little bit from. So we get logged in for day 2. Finish getting leveled up. I complete Act 1. And then I get into some party play. I had a friend that made a rogue and a friend that made the sorcerer. And so to wrap this up, I'll try to do it quickly. We're going to talk about some of the party play and maybe a tip or two and some final comments. Okay, I wanted to make this point about your skills and your gear. You're going to get gear, and it will have a +1 to your skill, a random skill. And you might not always pay attention to these, so as you're equipping better gear, you're going to have random plus skill ups. Some of these you might actually really want. They will unlock on your skill list, which you can bring up by hitting S. And then you can drag and drop them into your action bar. For whatever reason, I had assumed you had to put at least 1 point in your skill tree to unlock the ability, but that's not true. You only need to put a skill in the skill tree to unlock the passive bubbles that are beyond the skill on the skill tree. Also wanted to make this comment about the gear. You can see I'm level 17 and already getting kind of stacked with some legendaries, like half my gear is. Now that is not going to be the case on full release. I did just confirm with one of my buddies that the loot rate drops are increased for the beta. So I'm looking over the map and I'm taking a look at some of the dungeons, and this is when I was talking to my buddy and he was kind of cluing me in on the special attribute there at the bottom. It's a legendary affix, essentially. It's a legendary power. Once you complete the dungeon, you unlock it permanently, and you can get them for your class and other classes. That way, when you roll an alt, you already have these powers unlocked. One important note is you can extract the legendary power like you could in D3 from items. However, what he was telling me is that when you extract it and you craft it and you use that legendary power, it's only usable once if you extracted it from an item, whereas these dungeon powers are permanent. And to see all your powers, you can go to your codex. They're actually called aspects. You can see a whole list of them here. And yes, they all do have their own name. And you just hit Y as the hotkey. It said it there at the top. Alright, so I finally get grouped up with my boys. Like I said, each one of us played a different character. And that really brings me to what I wanted to say about the party play. The role in role playing here, it feels nice. I really feel like I bring something to the table. Like I have my unique purpose. I'm on the front line. I want to be the beefy boy. I got my war cries. I'm buffing my homies. The rogue, my buddy that was the rogue, he's putting out vulnerability debuffs, making my sorceress do a whole lot more damage. So I'm buffing him. I'm buffing people. He's debuffing people, and the sorcerer is just putting down bombs. It was really fun. Like, let me just rewind it for a second so you can hear what my buddy said here, because it really just is everything in a nutshell.
Different players.
I don't know what that buff is, but I like it.
Oh yeah, before I forget, you can hit E, and it brings up this really cool command wheel, and it has like 3 different pages, I think, if you use the scroll wheel. But right in the middle there, one of those buttons, that's your leave dungeon button, and it's very useful because there's a lot of quests that want you to go back to the beginning to turn in. Alright, I gotta wrap this one up. I could probably talk for a whole nother hour. There's so much to talk about, so much I didn't talk about, but I got a final clip. Here you go.
Bro! Oh my god, he won't stop going for me. Bro, what is going on?
I need more fury.
Bubble immunity.
I must wait.
Oh, get off me.
vulnerable. I got an ultimate, just keep him right here. There we go.
See my I can't see which one.
He's gonna get my ass, I feel it. He just hates me right now so much. I don't know why I'm the one holding aggro. He's gonna get me. Fuck. Oh no, you guys killed him. Good shit. Hell yeah. Okay, that was ridiculous.
Are you still streaming, Ian?
Yeah.
Because that is actually very hard to do. Like,
Seemed easy.
clip worthy.
I don't know, it seemed pretty easy to me. I just gotta talk about this part real quick here. My buddy the Rogue, he puts the vulnerability on him. I turn around and smack him with a Hammer of the Ancients for 2,700. Yeah, at level 19. Like, I ain't slapping him, doing little spinning around in front of him, doing 30 damage a hit with Whirlwind.
Fuck! What the? Bro, what's happening to me? Holy fuck!
I must wait. I must wait.
I think I'm gonna play another class. I think Barbarian sucks. I was just thinking about it. It just seems like, you know, maybe something else could be a better idea.
If somebody actually watched this a video, I appreciate you. My goal is 1,000 subscribers, maybe 100 videos. So I gotta get like 10 subscribers a video if I'm doing 100 videos to get 1,000 subscribers. So you can find me on Twitch, Medino69, and like and subscribe. Thanks.